Natasha here from Big Rock Organics, and welcome to week 4 of the CSA. We are getting a lot of awesome summer flavors and some new things coming in this week, so join me as we inspire you and walk you through your box. So we have really flavorful, amazing dill. We grew this new variety, it's called Teddy, and we grew it last year for the first time, and it makes this incredibly compact and flavorful and fine dill. It's not the same as some of the normal varieties, and I really love it because it gives you just all of this wonderful dill. Now, dill is really delicious with like sour cream and dill and garlic. You can combine that and put any vegetable in with it, raw or even cooked. You can use it as a marinade for chicken. You can use it as a dip. You can also put a little bit of mayonnaise in there, and that's delicious as well, salt and pepper, all that kind of stuff. But it's a really good base for a number of different things. So we've got that fresh, delicious dill. Now, storing herbs like this, I usually take the rubber band off because you're gonna get some, gunk here where the rubber band is pressing, and then I just take and wrap it in a damp paper towel. And then just store it in a bag and check it from time to time. Now, I will say, if you have more than you think you're going to use this week, it freezes beautifully. So you can take it and you just chop it with scissors. This is one I like to use, the kitchen scissors. I'm a big kitchen scissor fan. And you just chop it. You literally chop it right into a freezer bag. And then you put that freezer bag in the freezer, and when it freezes, it's going to retain its color. And it doesn't have a bad texture. So I use this like I would fresh dill, straight from the freezer any time of the year. So it is a wonderful one. It smells so good. It's also really good in a lot of, just different cultural cuisines and things. You can find it in some Middle Eastern dishes and things like that. So lots of good stuff here. And it smells so wonderful. So that might be the first thing you notice as you open your box this week, is this wonderful dill aroma hitting you right away. So beautiful dill, very excited about that one. We have Pac Choi again this week, and I just think this is just such a beautiful vegetable. We are planting our second planting of Pac Choi right now, so we'll have Pac Choi to revisit here in about another month or so, but I just think it's so beautiful. And we made an amazing stir fry this week. In fact, we've been eating it for a couple of days because we took our leftover stir fry and added it to fried rice, which just basically made a fried rice that was like a Supreme Deluxe version. And so I did some peppers and onions, which I actually chopped up from last year and put in the freezer. So we're still using up our chopped onions and peppers, which are so convenient. Like, anything that you can stick in the freezer now will save you time and money later on. I tell you, it's so helpful. So chopped up peppers and onions, and I just sauteed those. I added some chicken or protein of your choice. Then I took and cut up carrots. I cut up the kohlrabi, the turnips, and I put those in to saute so they got a little softer. And then I just cut this whole thing up, just chop it all up. I added that at the very last minute, along with fresh cilantro and fresh scallions, and finish it off with a stir-fry sauce of your choice. So there's a lot of stir-fry sauces in the store. Unfortunately, I picked a kind of lousy one. So I think next time I might just go ahead and make up my own. But that was a delicious stir-fry. And then we made homemade fried rice the next day and put the leftovers in the fried rice. So now we have a really flavorful, delicious fried rice. So a good way to kind of change it up so you don't feel like you're eating the same leftovers for a couple days in a row. So Pac Choi, another really fun one. Just a great summertime vegetable there. We've got, of course, scallions. Speaking of scallions, and they are getting bigger and ever changing, but they're still so delicious. And so even though they are a little bit bigger, I'm still using them in place of my onions and anything. You're even getting a little bulb. So one thing that is really lovely to do is to grill these. So you can use spray olive oil. I love spray olive oil because it's so convenient. Just put these on a cookie sheet, spray olive oil it, then salt and pepper it, you know, whatever seasonings you like to use. And then you just take and put them on the grill, just not a lot of time. You want the tops to get a little charred and the bottoms are gonna get that nice flavor, and then you can take and slice that and serve that, you know, with anything. Put it on a burger or just serve it on the side of a steak or something like that, or chicken or portobello mushroom or whatever protein of choice you like. So that's a fun way to use the scallions, is to do a grilled scallion like that. Otherwise, I just use them. I like to chop it up and keep it in the fridge so that I can just take and sprinkle it onto things anytime, because it's so convenient to have around. All right, we've got a medley of kale, and this is just such a pretty little bouquet as it is. I think it's just adorable. So we have curly kale. We have this really beautiful blue kale that I got that's new this year for us, and it has this purple stem, so that's really pretty. And then of course the traditional, where are you, the dinosaur kale that's like really bubbly and stuff. So we've got 3 different kales in there, and this all makes wonderful kale chips. And one of the things that you can do to derib kale very quickly is you just want to take your kale and hold it so that you've got the ends together, no matter what variety, and you're just gonna hold this, and then 1, 2, 3, just peel that stem right out of here, and there we go, and it'll just come right off, and then you have the kale ready to go. So that's really convenient and easy to get the rib out, and you're not dealing with that tough rib. And then you can just tear this into your pieces for salad or whatnot. So there we go. That was easy. All right. So kale chips are a great thing to do. Also, I like a marinated kale salad. You can take and add this to pasta at the very end. Just let it wilt slightly from the heat. So lots of fun stuff with kale. That's such a great superfood. Or juice it if you're into juicing, or in smoothies. You can just put the whole thing in there and juice it on up, smoothie it on up. So kale this week. We've got brand new radishes. Aren't they gorgeous? These are the French breakfast radishes. And we just had a local food truck, Wild Carrot Cooking. He came and picked up some produce from us this morning, and he said these are his favorite radish. He loves them so much. So I just wanted to tell you, just enjoy the beauty of these. They're just so beautiful to look at. They're really fun to pick because they just are elongated, and this is this new crop that is starting to come on. So this will probably be the last of radishes for a little while. We'll be planting a summer radish crop that will be ready in early fall, and I do have a storage radish that they come in really fun electric colors. Those are going to be planted this week, so there's always something interesting going on. So yeah, just beautiful little radishes. These would look so pretty on a charcuterie tray, or even just to do a pickled whole radish. Just to see these in the jar, I think would be so gorgeous. And of course, remember, all of your tops are edible. I have a tray of my cooked bacon in the oven, and by the way, this is a hack if you like bacon as much as I do. If you cook it in the oven, I just learned from my friend Michelle this week that you put it on your tray and then you put it in the oven cold, and it doesn't shrink as much and doesn't splatter as much. And it was really true. So I always just pop that baby in there when the oven's hot and preheated. She said, no, you have to put it in when the oven's cold. So anyways, I ate the bacon, of course, and then I drained off the extra fat to be able to use in all my cooking because it just imparts so much flavor. And then I took the actual foil that is still on the pan. I stuck the whole thing in the fridge because I'm gonna take and have some sauteed greens, and I'm gonna actually throw my greens onto that bacon pan, and then I'm going to just roast them in the oven. and so I've got that I'm gonna use. So you can do that with any of these greens, and then you can even puree it into like a base for a soup or something like that. You know, this time of the year you can do some nice cool soups, so that's something to check out too. So radish top greens, the turnip greens, all of those guys are edible if you're feeling, you know, adventuresome and you want to try it out. We have lots of beautiful kohlrabi this week. I hope that you have tried kohlrabi, and I hope that you like it. It's one of those really not often acknowledged veggies that I'm always trying to get people excited about. In fact, my win of the week was I got my sister-in-law to like it. She tried it and she's like, it's so good. I've been snacking on it. So you can grate this. I love it raw, though you can steam it. Allison, who helps us out on Mondays here, she gave it to her discerning children who were always like poking around the vegetables. What is this? What is that? She cut it up and she put it in the steamer with the broccoli, and she told them that it was broccoli stems, and they liked it. So it's really good, and I hope that you'll be enjoying it. Again, the greens are edible on here as well, and you just want to peel that root, and then you can chop it up, eat it raw, eat it cooked, steamed, sauteed, roasted. It's just got a really sweet flavor. It's very kind of wet, crunchy, almost like an apple. You could eat it whole if you wanted to. So, and I just think they're so beautiful. All those colors are just fantastic. All right, we do have spinach again this week. Yay! They are holding out. The irrigation's working beautifully, and we got them weeded again, and they look beautiful. Also lettuce. We're hoping to move into head lettuce. We've got some gorgeous head lettuce to be harvesting here in the coming weeks, so very excited. All right, where are my beet people at? We've got beets this week. So we have 4 different colors. So we have white beets, which amazingly enough, all the colors, you know, they have a little different flavor from one to the other, but they still taste like a beet. So we've got white beets. We've got the pink ones, which are shiojia, which are bullseye beets. So those are really cool. We got the yellow beets, and then we got some red beets. So everybody has a trio of different colored beets. Of course, all the greens, look at those gorgeous greens, are edible as well. You would treat these like a Swiss chard. They're very similar in texture and flavor to Swiss chard. So I didn't give y'all any Swiss chard this week because I felt like you got a lot of greens with the beets. So you can use those greens to saute, and there's a lot of great recipes out there which kind of feature both the root and the greens. So my favorite way to do these is I take and wrap them in aluminum foil. I roast them 425 or so till they're tender, and I roast them whole, and then the skin will just simply slip right off, just slip right off. And then me personally, I love pickled beets on my salad and on my burgers, because that is something my friend Riley from Australia, who helps out here at the farm, taught me that is a real Aussie tradition to have pickled beets on your burgers. And so I take my roasted beets and then I chop them and I add them to a jar of bread and butter pickle juice. So I eat all of the bread and butter pickles, save that juice, always save your pickle juice, and then I put the pickles in there for a couple of weeks at least, get them marinating. Such a great flavor, but you can roast them. I like having them roasted and then chopped up, and then you can add them to salad. I mean, so many great flavors. You can do a walnut and goat cheese beet salad that's really delicious, but so many good flavors. You can also tuck these into all kinds of interesting things. I've seen recipes online for doing like beet brownies and things like that, where you're just adding extra vegetables in for the heck of it, and you know, it gives it a little more moistness to the brownie batter. So just some food for thought there. We've got, of course, turnips. Now, it might be our last week. Actually, it is our last week for the turnips. We'll be getting another crop going for those guys in about a month or so, but that's gonna be the last week for those turnips. They've been awesome and wonderful while we've had them. I hope you've enjoyed those guys there. So I think that might be all. I'm hoping that a good bunch of you are enjoying. We've been trying to make sure that over the course of the weeks here. Everybody's getting a bouquet of flowers as the flowers are starting to come on. We are still kind of planting and tending that flower garden, so look for more come, July, August. But we are getting some beautiful bouquets, so I'm hoping that you're enjoying those as well. And yeah, lots of good flavors. So hopefully some Napa cabbage up in the weeks to come. Some regular cabbage as well, broccoli. We're keeping our fingers crossed, watching all of those guys develop along. So thanks for joining me. Week 4, we'll be posting some of those recipes I talked about. So thanks so much for joining me. Bye.